Hello, everyone. Welcome to this channel, which is Tale and Tale. And then you can follow me in YouTube on @Tale and Tale. And you'll find all the other videos that I've been putting on. So they're mainly discussion that I make around the different subject of being caught into a telling the truth. So telling the truth is lifestyle, I would say. And it's not always easy life, but it's at least waking up to the things that are bothering our life because we make compromise all the time to accept the silent lies that are surrounding us. As women, we've been accepting a lot of lies for peace, for the family, for the stability of the kids, for many things. This is a story of many women. And for the people that doesn't know me, I'm Monique, and I've been on the channel since I was fighting to get back my inheritance as a royal. And it's been quite a challenge because I had to go through high elites people, and it's not over yet, and they still fight against me. They don't want me at the table of the world leaders, so they're making it difficult. They're taking decision on their own, and I don't have a voice. And I decided that I will have a voice, and so I post truth, and then until they decide to put me at that table and bring me in, I will push, and they think that I'm going to give up, and I won't be giving up. The only problem with telling the truth, and this is probably something you've experienced yourself, is you get caught into people that want you to shut up and want you to stay silent. So they will continue their harassment to make you shut up. And they use different strategy. And one that is an important one right now around the world is they're using dark magic. I'm not going to explain what is dark magic, but for the people that live strange things around them, I suggest that you get informed on internet to see what are the things that people can send you energetically, so they can go as far as killing you. And so I've been receiving those curses and those sorcery regularly, and every time I'm close to getting back some money, get truth, or there are a court case that is about to finalize, they're pushing that energy, and so they're not getting penalized, So for me, it was something totally out of my mind. I never thought that a thinking would move you into experiencing all those things. And well, I have been experiencing them so intensely that I can tell you it exists for real. And when there are a bunch of cult people, dark cult people, putting together into different ways of doing it, and I don't know a thing about it, and I don't want to know a thing about it. All I want to know is how to identify it. So what I'll do is I'll do a little video just to tell you how I flag those situations. And I've been learning about it on internet, mostly searching on the reason why those things were happening, and why I discover that this is what they were doing for me. So my story is a strange story, and I have to tell it to include this into it, because if I don't, it doesn't make any sense. So the truth I'll be saying is mostly because I want people refer to this for themselves, because it is actually happening still, and curses are still used to for people to get what they want. So they will manipulate your mind. Actually, the government is using those tools. Those were army tools that were built and constructed to manipulate waves in the mind. So for the people that doesn't know too much how biological things works, it's very important that you remember that you are made of electricity. So the balance, your blood is circulating liquid minerals, and so I'm going to make it very simple. But the thing is, those are substances in your body that is conducting electricity, because your heart is a pump that works with electricity. As crazy it is, calcium, potassium, and those two are very important to make your heart beat. And if the energy is not well balanced, we know that if you're in different environment, you can feel that some of the electricity is affecting you. Some people do feel it, but some other people that are very busy in their life and have other things to refer to when they feel symptoms, then they will probably go to doctor and ask them to help them discover why they are experiencing this. So in my case, I'm a health professional, and I'm able to understand a lot of what is medical or what is not. And so I was able at first to realize that some of the things that were happening were not consistent, not related to exercise, to things that were sort of happening in my life. So this is how I first realized that those were strange, and the rhythm of it was like where I live. It was happening on Saturdays and Sundays, and I had strange pain that were recurrent at certain times that was not making sense, or situations that were happening, like when I was walking my dog, suddenly the dog had sudden behavior that did not make any sense, because I have a very good dog. So I was wondering why all of this was happening. So I have had people going after me, and I did not understand why those people would go after me. And you live your life. I'm a very quiet person. I'm not open normally, but I think it's very important that I share this with you. And I was realizing that people were contacting me strangely, doing strange things. And it started to be more obvious when I had people contacting me on my Facebook profile, Instagram profile. And I had, I think, 14 people linked to that profile. I was not a fan of social media. I always thought that it's an illusion for me, and let me explain it to you. It's you're sitting in front of a phone or whatever you're using, and you click on names, and names are supposed to make you refer to a face in your mind. So you click on a profile, and you pretend that this is the person that is talking to you on the other end. So all you have as a reference as a human is that name and the pretension of a face you've seen somewhere or in your life that is that person talking to you. Excuse me. So starting with this, I was at a time of my life where I have stopped I have quit paying my license for practice and decided to step back and go into doing some arts. So started to do drawings, do writing, and talk about it to my kids and my friends around me. And I was writing a book, and I was telling them all I restarted after wanting to quit my practice, my health professional practice. I'm actually an occupational health nurse. I'm a nurse practitioner. This is, I think, how they say it in English. I've worked in regions very far from the big cities, so we had to be very knowledgeable to treat people. So what's very important here is that as a human, we use reference that we know. Older people, we've been raised to trust, and those were things I remember. You could give something to someone and you knew that the person was honest right away, and never suspected that people would betray you. And mostly because those people had ethic of practice to whatever they were doing. So, and they were trying to make it as at the best they could do, because if they were not, they were losing the business. So it was at a time where probably things were not as diversified in terms of culture, and more of a more stable way of doing things. And this is how we were as human beings. And I think a lot of us refers to this, and not even the old one, because the parents that raised the kids raised them with that philosophy in their lives. So you have to trust, because if you don't trust, then you create situations that are difficult. And then slowly we started to see appearing the Me Too. And as I was dealing very closely to people, when injustice were happening, then people started slowly to say, well, if they do it, I'm just working my butt out, or I'm just for this reason or whatever reason. And they were just mainly realizing that the strategy was not a common strategy anymore. So people started to say Me Too, and where I was experiencing it was like people starting to get time off for absence, like for deaths. You had to deal with the disappearing of someone. So instead of saying, well, life continues, we all lose someone in our life, it's all difficult, and we'll make sure that we accept that it's going to be difficult for a time, and we'll stay around you and make sure that you're okay. There was a social acceptance of that time of adjustment in your life, and it did not need to be medicalized. But right now, everything has shifted, because as people were slowly starting to get medical certificate to stay home to recuperate, then we went from having a normal time of absence of 2 or 3 days after a death, becoming slowly 10 days is okay, and then becoming a month, and becoming 2 months, and becoming a non-stop thing of you never recuperate from losing someone, which makes no sense. And for some reason, it all became a fight between medical people and companies, and the doctor decided that they will lead the business because they were not taking care of people. But it was more a social thing where it's never ending, it's never ending. And so the person that works and that takes that person's job while they're away, thinking that they're going to come back soon, they get extended, and it's never ending, so it doesn't make sense. You cannot do someone else's job because there's a pretension they're supposed to come in 10 days and then we're 2 months after. And so there's a comparison and injustice feeling that is starting in the society. And this is how we slowly lose trust, or we feel the injustice. And so this is how we were built as human, you know. And then slowly the society has deteriorated, and we have become human that accepted to be leaded by doctors. That's what's been happening. And then in the workplace, it became a painful adjustment for the companies, and it became a very difficult thing to accept that people needed that much time to adjust their life. And it was just representing how the society around us has given up on helping each other. And why is that? Because slowly the industry decided that the performance was allowing space for people to talk within each other. So they were calling it loss of performance, and but not seeing the benefit of it behind, and not seeing the cost, the prevention that was created, and the fact that it was building relationship within people, which has a huge benefit for the performance of the company. So all the human-related things that were building trust between people slowly deteriorated, because the industry was seeing time of work as 100% performance, which is totally unrealistic. And the CEOs and the big managers that thought that a human being can perform 100%, 8 hours per day, 12 hours per day, are just leading unrealistically. And they've been creating their own problem. And I've seen it over the years created as people lost slowly trust in the industry, because how they were expecting human not to be human, but being machine for the industry. And so they've lost a lot of money dealing with that trust that separated from the humanity of people, the engagement they had for an industry, and how everything was dealt in between each other. So people were helping each other. But as they were removing the time to do it, like cutting lunchtime, or whatever it is, like not allowing the person to come in, and making the space to adjust, to reintegrate slowly their job instead of staying home. Because if you stay home, you're going to do things. So that's what is so important with humanity right now, and why we are caught in all of that loss of trust and truth, is very much linked to how slowly those big leaders in big business decided that they would not take the responsibility of making their people happy at work. And as much as I want to flag on what's happening around the world with the industry and how they want to make a mega industry led by robots, it expressed very much how much humanity has shifted understanding that a human is a human. You cannot make a robot of a human, whatever you want it to be. And it's just moving the expense somewhere else. And for the CEO that has been in business over time, I'm sure that someone will nod and say, yes, you're right, Monique. You are telling something that is a huge truth. So they're trying to reinvent a world right now that they created themselves. Losing trust and not telling truth is deteriorating the fabric of the society, because if you cannot trust your boss, or if your boss keep adding the job of the employee that are sick, thinking that they will come back, but they never come back, you create a huge injustice in your industry. And as much as people want to talk about truth, how much of the industry wants to listen to what they're themselves creating in their own businesses, and blaming humanity that they cost a lot, or women is responsible because they do babies, or whatever it is they create into their way of managing. That strategy is completely outdated. So we moved from taking care of their employee, making them part of the result, and we've moved them to lies. Like I would say, I'm experienced enough to qualify it at lying to their employees. The biggest lie I've seen, and they don't want me to talk about it, is the work contract, and how they've been frustrated about absence. Absence had became, like when I started, we had 1-2% of absence of employee, and they were very short time. There was a very little cancer and very little sickness or mental sickness, and then it shifted to 10% of employees sick. If you have 10% of your employees that are sick, just realize you're losing 10% of your expertise. And what you do is, if you switch the job of one person to another one, then you for one time short, because someone is sick for a short time, if the sickness extended and you just never readjust. And then this is the responsibility of human resources. And they've been creating false strategy, lying to people. Let's just do it in a few weeks. And people are willing to do it for a certain time. Sometimes it allows them to express a part of their personality they wouldn't be able to express, like managing someone. So it shows the management how this ability is something that is a good thing or not a good thing for someone that is doing it temporarily. But every time you switch someone else's job to someone else, thinking that you resolve your problem, you're just creating more problem. And imagine if you have 10% of your employee, and 10% is, the more you have employee, the more it makes more people. And then if those are all mental health issues, and then you just switch those jobs to another person, then you tire the new person doing two jobs, thinking that the other person will come back. And then the doctors lead your business because you decided you did not want to lead your business. So the doctor says, well, I have someone that is just exhausted because you gave them two jobs for a year because someone else didn't come back and you didn't want to replace that person. So it's a social huge problem, because it is how frustration brings people to that state of wanting to resolve themselves a problem that the industry is totally unable to address, or sit down and figure out how much of this needs to be hold off until someone will come back. And do not destroy someone else because you want the business to continue as it is, even though there is dysfunction. And This is the CEO's and manager's responsibility, and I'm pointing the finger at you because you are responsible for the dysfunction that you create in your own business. And if you get to 10% of absence, and I've been working in the industry long enough to tell you that it is actually 100% of performance issues, and your way of readdressing the tiredness that you create in your own business because you don't want to stop a part of your business until the person comes back. So you want everything to continue. So you add the job to someone else, and it lasts forever because you've given up your ability to manage your business to doctors, and then they finally put medical certificate because they realize that you cannot manage your people in your business, and then you get to absences that doesn't make sense, and people that are getting exhausted, and then they get exhausted, so they leave again. So you have one sick that was doing the job, the second one that gets overly tired and needs to get away because they say, me too, I'm gonna take off too. So this person doesn't come back. I've seen her shopping and going here and there, or he's been doing this and that, or doing a special job outside. That's your responsibility to bring your people back. It's not the doctor's responsibility. It's you have to work. Manage your business. You're not managing your business. Having so many people in work-related absences was often 50% of the case. And I've been having situations at certain times where there were problems in the industry. 70% of mental health absence that were related to dysfunction inside of the business that were creating people in health problems and fatigue and mental stress and comparison. Why do you have me do that job? It's not in my job description. And then we come to the work contract, and it's a huge mess in the industry. That work contract is such a big lie for having to deal with absences and someone that doesn't come back to work, and then what you do after 6 months and how you refer to that contract initially is crazy, because if you had people doing one management job during the time that person was sick, and then you keep extending it so it becomes a year and you never readjust that contract. And that's the responsibility of people that are managing employee to make that structure function. If you use external services and you cannot even manage your own system inside your business, you cannot believe that it will be going well. And you can be as frustrated as you want trying to do the world around managing humanity and wanting to make them robots. But the problem is not coming from employees. It's coming from your own management dysfunction. And it's been so crazy when I left. I understand that the people that do have businesses or structure where there are employees, that it can be suffering, financially talking, of that crisis. But if you give your neighbor the responsibility to raise your kids, you cannot think that you're going to get kids that are raised at your standard and that are going to be happy and recognizing what you do for them. This is a disconnect from management that is critical right now in the society. And it's been growing so much that we've seen the Me Too leading this world and leading the industry. And then you have people that want more money, that are unsatisfied and wanting to do a job where they're going to be happy. And then you start to have people that are frustrated, and then they sit at their desk becoming so frustrated on how it's managed, how they give promotion, how someone gets a job because it's been replacing the other one, and well, we'll just continue to have it function. And so it's so unfair, so unfair. And all it does, it shows how university are lacking to show management how to manage humans. And as much as I would like to be a teacher in university to show them all the dysfunction that are happening in having managers that are not even knowing what to do with their employees except of making sure a job is happening, everything else falls into a major gap that is affecting everything in the society right now. Because if you have people absent because a little something happens, let's say a death, and then it extends for 2 weeks, it's not that bad. But if it extends for a month, maybe there's something else that added up along the way, because we know that after 3 days, life continues. You're going to do your things in your house. Crying is normal. It's not abnormal. If you cry because you miss someone that you lost at work, it's not that abnormal. So it's the complete dissociation of our humanity that has happened in the industry for performance and rendement. I don't know how to say, like, I forgot the word. So anyway, so what you execute and when you come out from it is a huge lie. And the Me Too is how people decided to manage what you are not able to manage yourself. And I don't want to be nice here, because I remember leading a medical center in a big company, a multinational, because they had to do it, and then I know that right now they've been pushing it to other companies. And what you did is you transfer your power to doctors that knows nothing about your business. And those doctors became so, I'm sorry, doctors, but that's what it is. They become so proud of telling you, here you go, I'm going to keep that person up because you're not able to manage your thing. So we're going to keep that person off for a little while until that person feels much better. But you never resolve the issue at work. You never resolve the conflict that were happening, or resolve the situation that happened because you've been giving a person 2 job, 3 job for so long that you exhausted that person. It's a never ending story. And then as I've started in the 80s, end of the 80s, with almost 1-2% of absence of overall employee, and finish with 10% of employee, it tells a lot about all the management dysfunction that has been happening in how those universities are leading those managers. And then I'm flagging mainly engineer. So engineer, you know that those people will be mostly taken as leaders for their knowledge and experience, but they're thrown into managing people for 80% of their time, doing probably 20% of organization. And they come out of those diploma without any competency to manage and be realistic about how much a human being can be pushed into accumulating frustration in their workplace, and it's creating conflict in between people. and a loss of trust into the people that are managing. So, and the manager that has to deal with all those frustration gets exhausted of managing and finds harsh way of dealing with it. And then you have those doctors that decided that they will manage for you because you're not doing the right things in your business. So see how fast it degrades and how you just shift your responsibility to people that does not even belong to your business, that doesn't even know how you're impacted by an employee that is absent or that is taking off or that is deciding to do whatever they want in their work-related contract. Because you're not there, you're absent, or you decided that you're just going to be frustrated and resolve your problem, throwing the problem to the garbage. And what I see right now with the industry is that you've been throwing all your frustration in a one world order, saying, well, we're going to resolve the problem. We're going to put an AI system that will manage it, thinking that you're going to resolve the problem. You're just creating more problem, more loss. And if you create those mega industry, you're going to lose everything. I'm telling you, the disconnect is becoming so big that it is time to stop, pause, rethink about that strategy, because you know exactly that putting things into a mechanical process, you will need them to lead the mechanical people that will repair your mechanic. It's just shifting the problem somewhere else. You're not resolving anything at all. And that's the huge gap of university that has a responsibility to include that part of the humanity in the learnings you give to your student. Add a year for it, whatever, but you need to include human resources management to those managers, so they learn or remember that whenever they lead employees, there will always be that percentage of dealing with conflict that you created yourself just because you didn't want to disrupt. So what it is to say, well, we have an important person sick, and how much you lose from just making it a hold or doing a little shift, not in humans, but in the business process until that person comes up. But then you deal with that person and the conflict. If you just, I've seen companies trying to hold on to everything, losing employee or not having a true strategy of replacement and a shift of job, and then people get frustrated because they've been shifted from their own job, but their work contract is still there. So if they become sick and you send that to occupational health external services, what they'll be is give me the work contract of this person. We're going to see. So this person has been receiving a pay, let's say temporarily, for a job that is not written, that is not described, and then you shift them into the external, and then they get like for long-term pay for any condition, a cancer or whatever it is, and then they never receive the equivalent of the salary replacement because you never adjusted the contract. Anyway, it's I believe it's the big lie of the society right now, and the one world order that is wanting to control everyone from a phone. They say like ID cards. It's not ID cards. Our phone are our ID cards. Everything goes through this. So telling the truth is complicated. And it's complicated because it affects, when you start to say it, so many layers that are just mainly unmanaged situation. And whatever CEOs and manager you're gonna try to pretend that does not exist, that is in your own camp, will never be bringing you back the energy or the investment that you've been doing in humans. And you can remove women from your industry thinking that it's one of the big costs, but I'm telling you, I've been working with men all my life, and it's human. There's nothing different. When guys have a woman that is sick home, they will be absent to help in the family. If they have a baby home, they will be going back home and finding ways to help. You know, it's you cannot. I can't believe the disconnect, the mental disconnect from having happy employee in your industry, making sure that you provide for them. It's just, otherwise you're just moving the cost somewhere else. And worse than that is you're moving the cost in external services or third party, and then they will do whatever they want. So what you get is a bill, but at the end, you have to pay that bill. And all you see is what it costs you, because you are totally disconnected from what's happening in your business. So I hope it's shaking up a bit of those CEOs and managers that thinks that they can sit in front of a spreadsheet and move strategy around right and left, thinking that they resolve their own issue, of thinking that if they shift the kids to the neighbors, that they're going to resolve their problem. All you're going to do is you're going to shift your problem, and the neighbors will do whatever they want. They will bring you costs. You won't know what they do, and you'll disconnect everyone from what is your dream with your business, what is your intention with it, and how is the money staying in your pocket instead of going to each and every third party that you decided to name to deal with your own problems that is your responsibility. I hope it's giving some guidance to why I think that the one world order strategy is such a big lie, a big expression of how men are not liking dealing with human, and this is not in their own nature, and how they've been pushing women out of the leading world. And I'm experienced enough to tell you that guys wants to create ways of managing in between the feeling of the garage beard altogether. Well, I don't want to be harsh, but there's a lack of integrity and in to their own humanity, thinking that they're not needing it, and that they're pretending that all of it is responsible, is not their own responsibility, and that they don't need love. So how have we got to those high elites that are so indifferent about humanity, and that they're believing that dark, deep state will create performant solution, as they are totally trying to destroy humanity? And that's what it is. We're going to tell the things as it is. It's let's destroy humanity, remove women because it's costing a lot to the industry, and then let's do this and let's do that and give that to third party. I've never seen such a disconnected way of doing things, and taking care, and I'm repeating, taking care is the only way out. There is no other way to deal with human. Taking care is the only way to do money in a business. And you forgot about it. And as long as you're not gonna want to look at your own self and deal with your own incapacity to choose leading with human and make those people happy in your business, you will be losing money. And it's leaking right now from everywhere. And when I left because I just couldn't deal with management that were so indifferent. And then you were providing them with strategy, and they were putting you they didn't want to do it. So they were spending a lot of money to get advice and recommendation. And the government is the worst one. They're the one that are putting the laws together for the private industry, and the worst one at following the rules for themselves. It is terrible. They put you into a situation where they have someone hired to check you if you do everything for the employees in your business, and when you go back in their own environment or building, it is terrible. Medical people, hospital, services to the society, social services, they're just unable right now. And I just left a year ago, 2 years ago, was my last contract with government. And as much as I tried to flag the issues, I was attacked. They've been, because people didn't want to look at themselves and say that they were betraying and that they were manipulating people. And I was so shocked on how disrespectful the government was for the medical people and their services, and how they were wanting you to shut your mouth because they didn't want to look at it and not address it. And as long as we're going to lie to ourselves, we're going to stay stuck. And then I don't believe right now in government, because mainly this is a structure where there are so many people from the society that works for them. Everyone is trying to create his own little job to keep salary coming in, but it's using citizen money into things that could be moved differently, or make sure that we assist younger people coming in that field. But there are not a lot of examples of how to take care of people. We're very bad. Very bad. So I hope it gives you a perspective, and I hope CEOs will listen to this, because telling the truth is something, but accepting that we have that much work to get back and stop pretending that the people that are sorry, you don't want me to talk about it. If you stop believing that human resources are the only one responsible for your employee and they're the one leading the employee, I just want to be polite here. I think it's an illusion. Human resources, if you don't give them your wish of what you want to see happening with human, and if you're not checking what they do, they will do whatever they want. Yeah, and they will even do privilege, and then it's a mess right now. I'm telling you, it's just something where everyone says, me too. Me too. I want my job, and I'm even able to go outside my job if I don't like my job, and I will just do it, and people don't address it, and it's creating the frustration between other people, and there's the me too that is installing. So let's call it the me too strategy, and how we're going to change this world issue right now in the industry and the world of work, and why so many people decided to get back home doing their own things. Because, well, actually, if you want people in a workplace and you're not able to manage people and the complexity of it, or because you never learned before coming in the industry as a student from university or whatever courses that you've taken, that it includes, if you manage 60, 80% of the time, having to make sure that the people you hired, because you cannot do the job on your own, that's what it is. It's just because you cannot do everything in the business. So what you do is you call someone in and you make it part of your project. That's only what it is. If you cannot bring your people there, you're going to lose everything finally in a medium or long term. So it's a reflection I think we need to bring back in our own businesses and make sure that we address a good understanding of what is a CEO responsibility. And to whatever they like it or not, you have to get involved with your people and come out of your spreadsheet and make sure that it represents what you want for your business result. And if you use third party all the times for everything, certainly you receive a bill, but your business look like a bill from people that are managing the business for you. Thank you.